Yes, hello, teacher.
Lecture. Okay. Very good. Thanks. Yes. I have just dropped you the slide of the awards class sessions today, and then I don't know whether have you finished the slide already or not yet. Okay. You may have another 5 minutes to finish the slide that I just dropped to you, and then we can walk through together about the three foundation stone of regional economics. Okay. So let's enjoy another 5 minutes. Hello. Hello.
Hello, teacher.
Okay, let me walk you through these materials together, okay? I'm sorry I cannot be in with you for the two sessions for today, since I have another duties to be completed in at 7 o'clock. So just I will try to compensate this absence for your guide when we have time together. But at least today we need to finish this topic number 4 that is based on our course syllabus that is discussed about three foundation stone of regional economics. Okay, so let me walk you through this too. So we start with the regional economics. I think you already learned with the meaning of regional economics, and you also learned some of the importance of regional economics. Why do we need to look at those kind of things? And the first thing is the economic systems are the dynamic entity, and there's give me a second. Okay, yes. This one we start with the economic systems kind. You already learned that the economic system are the dynamic entities, and they affect the well-being of the individuals as well as the social and political fabric. Like we learned earlier, the economic systems are categorized into three types of economic systems. It could be the planned economic system, or market economic system, or the mixed economic systems. However, those systems still dynamics. It cannot be static. That's why it could also be, it also could affect to the individual and social and politics. That's why we need to look at this or keep an eye on this carefully. And then you look at the regional economic, also quite similar. We need to look at the regional levels. It represents a framework within which the spatial characters of an economic system can be understood. Okay, it represents this framework. Okay, within which spatial characters of an economic system that can be understood. You put it together. You put the country together, and then you create a framework under the spatial characters, and then the economic system in that region can be understood. Okay. And there's also the very important institution here. They are working with the regional science that is also have the association, as I remember correctly, because the importance of the regional economic. That's why they create this. And this can be defined as the field of social science concerned with the analytical approaches to the problem that's specifically regional. See that? So that is the things. And then we also need to look at this. What is the meaning of the spatial characters? And then that is the spatial character of economics here. Okay, remember when we discuss about regional economics, it represents the framework within which spatial character of economic system can be understood. So that's why we need to define what is the spatial characters, and that is the meaning of spatial characters of economics. What is where and why so what? Okay. What here refers to the every type of economic activities which they are doing. Okay, every type of economic activity, for example, like trading activities, like servicing activities, manufacturing activities, something like that. So this refers to the economic activity that which are happening in the regions. And where here we refer to the locations. Okay, and involve question of proximity, concentrations, dispersions, and similarities or disparities of spatial patterns. So that is where we refer to the locations. Okay, and involves the question of proximities and the concentrations. For example, we might, for example, like you can also notice that some of the region are not good for some particular economic activities, while the others location might be essential for the economic activities. For example, like the trading activities might be needed to be with the sea, okay, or port. And yes, that is what I can tell you right now. Okay, and what is the why and so what? Why and so what we refer to the political implications. First, we need a what is where, meaning to say that economic activities, and that we need to refer what kind of economic activities and what's happening at where, at which locations, okay? And then there's also the whys and so what. Why do we need to care about those kind of things? Why do we need to care about what is where? Because there's some political implication beyond that too, okay? That's why they are the spatial character of economics. So far, so good.
Sure, the last one talk about the rationale of doing thing, right?
Sorry.
Why and so what? The political implication refer to the rationale of how resources are allocated.
Sorry, I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot understand you well, Davin. You Davin? Yes. Can you just come again, please? And then,
Could you hear me?
yes, this one is better than before.
The why and so what refer to the rationale of a political decision or how resources are allocated, right? The rationale.
Yes, of course. Why and so what he refers to, that is the regional or political implication beyond what is where. Yeah. Okay. Am I answering to your question, David?
Okay, yeah, yes.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Okay, so when we understand this, the regional economics, normally that is shaped by the concept of regional economic has shaped by the spatial characters, okay, of economics. And the spatial character of economic we discussed here. And then in order to understand the spatial character of economic wealth, you need to look at the three foundation stones of this regional economy, okay? And what are these? Because these three foundation stones will tell you the pattern of the economic activities, okay? And if you look at into details, there are three stones here. The first stone is the natural resources advantage. And the second stone is the economy of concentrations. And the last stone is the transportation course, okay? And why we need to look at this? Because this one will determine the activity that one regions could play. Okay, yeah, the economic activities that one regions could have. For example, you have learned already with the international trade course. The natural resources abundance. For example, we have land or labor, so the product that we are producing normally focusing on those kind of things. If we have the labor, if we have a lot of labor resource, so you might produce the labor incentive products. Okay, if you have the capital, so you may produce with the capital incentive product, intensive products. That's why the natural resources can play the important role in some or determines play important role in terms of determining the economic activities in particular areas, okay? And in the other sense, you can call this one as the imperfect factor mobilities. Imperfect factor mobilities, meaning to say that your resources, factors are production, okay? It can't be moved, okay? In this sense, it can't be moved, so there's some advantage for you to go there, okay? Yep. That's why that is called natural resources advantages, okay? And we also have the second stone. You need to figure out more about the economic concentrations here. Also can determine the economic patterns, economic activities, okay? And that is called the imperfect divisibilities. The word concentration here, economic concentration, or you can call this one as this economy of scales, okay? Economy of scales, I will explain you further. It already learned in the microeconomic course, I believe. And then this one is about the concentrations, okay? And the last stone is the transportation course. This one also can be determined your economic activities. For example, if you are producing at a very far away from the markets, or you need to fast the transportation course, something like that, okay? Or in the other term, you can call this one as the imperfect mobility of goods and services, okay? So these are the imperfects of the three category or the three stones, okay? These are the economic term, I would say. These are the very simple term that you can understand. So why we need to think about this? And then let's look at the renewable resources advantage, okay? Like I discussed to you earlier, that is the unequal distribution of climate, okay? Distribution of climate, mineral soils, topography, and most other natural features have to explain the location of many kind of economic activities. See that? That's why I'm trying to tell you that if that is the unequal distributions, meaning to say that in our world we are not the same. Sorry, how can I say this? We are living in the same world, we are living in the same globe, but we are not facing the same challenges. We're facing several different challenges. For example, if you look at the north part of America, they may face the Earth's climate problem, for example, like the cool weathers most of the times. Whilst they also reached in the others resources like the seafoods, something like that, or the energy, gas energy. There might be like that. While in the tropic area, we may have a very good climate in order to produce agricultural products, but we don't have any gas resources, or we don't have any oil resources in our tropical area, for example. See that? And some land is fit for these products, and found some land fit for the others. Some land fit with the some product agricultural products. The others might be with the others. So those kind of the differences of the distribution here can determine the location, explain the location of many kind of economic activities. Okay. That's why, yeah, let me open the bracket, a small bracket. It's very simple for you. If you look at to the real estate, this one is just equivalent for you to think about it a little bit, but it is not in our contact. Okay, just trying to make you a little bit understand why that location is important. And okay, if you look at the real estate developer, for example, when they trying to develop the real estate, the building, the house, the condos, the condominiums, the something like that, they may look at to the environment surrounding. Correct. Quite similar thing to this, I think, the same things. And when this one can be happens, the complete or partial immobility of the land and other productive factors. It is immobility of land, right? You cannot just move the land out in one area to the land of another area. It's hardly to do that. Why in Cambodia, let's put in Cambodia context first. Why the passion fruits or the avocado fruits really delicious come from Mundulkiri province. Why not we cannot plant it in Kampong Cham, in Kampong Spu, for example? Because the quality of land is not happening, right? The transportation cost very high if you transport the passion fruit or avocado from Mundulkiri to the cities, Phnom Penh cities, while Kampong Cham and Kampong Spu quite close to Phnom Penh city. Why you don't grow those agricultural commodities in that two provinces? The problem is about the soil quality, right? So that's why, can we just move the swap from Mandurkiri to Kampong Cham and to the Kampong Spu? It won't be happens, right? Because that's why we say immobilities of land and other productive resource factors are one essential part of any explanation of what is where. Okay. And such immobility lies at the heart of the comparative advantage that varieties enjoys for specialization in the production and trades. When you realize this, you have this kind of thing, meaning to say that you have this advantage, okay, and then you can enjoy your specializations, you can produce that. I think this one we also going to learn in the international trades also, that one focusing on the factors, or let's say resources abundance. That is in terms of the hectares and only models. I will try to link this to you also, okay? But just remember that when you have this immobilities resources, you might have a comparative advantage in some particular products that you are going to produce, okay, or services. Okay. Yeah. You might also put your question into the other perspective too. If you look at to the stock market, this one is open a bracket also, but this example for you. You look at to the stock markets, the well-known stock markets across the world, there are several only. If you look at to the European parts, there's only two major stock exchanges that played important role in that sectors. One is in London, that is called London Stock Exchange, a very big stock exchange. And another stock exchange is in Germany, that is called Frankfurt Stock Exchange. And then you may ask, or you may put the question here, why that's in Frankfurt? Why that is in London? Why not in Paris? Why not in Netherlands? Or yes, why not in Amsterdam? Why not in the one is in Italy? So that's the question here, because they see some potential and then they develop it over there. Okay, there's some of the unequal distribution of factors productions. Okay, yeah, that's why that is the case. And when this happens, okay, we understand that the natural resources very important, and then they are not the same. And then when they are not the same, they will determine the economic pattern of economic activity in particular locations. Okay, and then when you have this, okay, when you identify through you have comparative advantage, and then this guy asks you what kind. This guy set the question by himself by asking that what kind of location patterns might logically be expected to appear in an imaginary world, right? Where all the natural resources differentials were assumed away in a uniformly in those flatlands. It's very easy to understand here. Argus logic is trying to tell you that if you realize that if you believe, not realize, if you believe that the natural resources here, see that the unequal distribution of natural resources here, and then the world is very big for us. So how can we understand about the location patterns? So we just, let's say, the imaginary here, okay? So in that situation, I got this guide. I don't know how to pronounce his name. In these situations, he believed that one might conceive the expectation of the tree having these questions. Okay, having these questions, this guide, the people could come up with these three answers. The first one maybe we expect the concentration of all activity in one spot, right? For example, if you believe in this area, and then all the activities should be having only one spot here. The second, there might be the uniform dispersions of all activity over the entire area. Yeah, there might be like that too. And the third thing, if there is no systemic pattern at all, but a random scatters of activity. Yeah, this might be happening because of the questions. But actually, when you look at it into detail or when you look at the rationale beyond that, that is the logical outcome for you. Okay, logical outcome here meaning to say that even though we realize that is the unequal distribution, but we still also can observe some particular regular patterns, okay, to various crystal structures and showing some recognizable similarities to a real world pattern of distributions of the city and towns. That's why sometimes it is comparable from one region to another region. Okay, yeah. So that is the logics of this question, logic outcome of these questions. And then to determine the locations in this sense, there are two constraints for you. The first constraint is that is called economic or spatial concentrations, and the second one is the transportation cost, right? When we look at the location, determination of location, okay, let's say in the Asia Pacific locations, in the European locations, in the Africa locations, in the Latin America location, or in Middle East location, for example, there's still two more constraints for you to look at in order to understand this sense. The first one is the economy of spatial concentration, and the second one is about the transportation costs. Okay. So this one is just a little bit explained to you. Okay. So these two are the other two stones that we have discussed earlier. The first stone is the natural resources. The second stone is the economy of concentration, and the last stone is the transportation course. So the first stone here is shaped by the others two stone here. Okay. Yep. Natural resources to determine location, and in order to determine your location, there are two more stones to be addressed. And what is the economy of the concentration? What is the second stone of the foundation stones? I mean, the second foundation stones. Give me a second. I pick up my telephone a little bit. Okay, sorry, a little bit late for you. Okay. Like I discussed you earlier, that is the economy of concentrations. That is the economy of spatial concentration can be traced mainly due to the economy of scales in a specific industries. Do you understand well with the term economy of scales? Alleged.
Not really, teacher. Can you explain it?
Okay, I will explain in you detail in the next slide, but just give you the insight first. The economy of scale here, you have learned in the microeconomics, okay? The economy of scale refers to a situations refer to a situation where when you increase the productions, the average total cost is become lower. Again, the economic of scales we refer to the situation or refers to the gains, okay, or to the gain, I could say by this way. When you increase the productions, and then you realize that the average total cost is going down. And why that is the case? Let me give you one example here, okay? Why that is the case, this happening. This is for economy of scale here, this area. If you produce, this one is cost, okay? This one is total cost, and this one is quantity or the output that you produced. This one is the average total cost. This situation we can call the economy of scale. Why? Let's look at this. If you produce one unit, you need to bear with this cost, right? Average total cost with this one. If you increase another one, 2 units, you would bear with this cost, right? If you produce 3 units, you would bear with this another cost. See that? The third unit here, that is the second unit, you need to bear with this cost, and the first unit to bear with this cost. See that? Because every total cost here equals to what? In this sense, we should use the formulas equals to every variable cost plus average fixed cost, right? Every variable cost plus average fixed cost. Okay, and every variable cost will vary based on this, right? But average fixed cost, sorry, the fixed cost will not be vary, but the netness of average fixed cost like this. The higher that you produce, the lower each units that you are going to spend on fixed cost, right? For example, I ran a factory which cost me 200 US, let's say cost me 20,000 US dollars per month, for example. I rent a factory and then I rent it and then it cost me with this amount of money. So when I produce one unit, I also need to pay the same, right? For this amount. If I pay 2 units, if I produce 2 units, so that is for 20,000. If I produce one unit, what happens? I will spend all this, right? I will spend all this within one unit. But if I produce 2 units, I need to take this and then divide it by 2, right? That is per unit average fixed cost. If I produce 3, that could be gonna be divided by 3. See that? That's why it's the net choice of average fixed cost become lower like this. Okay. And this way also the same, average total cost equal to average variable cost plus average fixed cost. That's why when you increase the numbers of your output here, you will realize the lower of the fixed cost that you are going to face. Does it make sense now, May? Are you May? Here, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, teacher. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Then, Kim Ho, that's okay with the economy of scale here?
Yes, lecturer, yes.
Very good, thanks. So like I discussed to you earlier, the economy of concentration here, it quite similar to the concept. Let's say the similar concept to the economy of scale. Why we discuss this? Because when you have, I think you also had used to hear from some of the companies say that, okay, if I produce with this amount, I will not set up my company over there, right? Because it cannot be cover my fixed cost. That's why there should be some switch zones to be produced. Okay, in the production. Sorry. Okay, that is the concept of economy of scale. I think I can have another realistic example for you too. You also realize that the Ford how can I say, automobile, yes. You know this, the Ford is already, the Ford assembly factory already decided to place in Cambodia, right? You know this? It already decided to establish in Cambodia, right? Hello.
Teacher, what was that, teacher? It was
The Ford company, Ford car company, already decided to build the factory, but the factory here, the assembly factory only, okay, in Cambodia. And which province do you think they build? They're going to build their factory. They're going to establish in the Posa province. Yes, as I seen that in the news too. So the question comes here: why this company decided to choose Posa province? That is a very big question here, right? Why not the other provinces? Why not Sihanouk Views? Why not Kampot? Why not Siem Reap? Why Posa? That is the very big question, okay? And then when you want to understand this thing, the kind of thing here, we need to look at the environment, the climate that are, sorry, the environment or the natural resources that we discussed earlier, okay? And we need to look at to the economy of concentrations. We need to look at to the transportation costs. To my perspective here, I believe that most of the Ford company is easier for them to come from the Thailand. Some of the spare parts they might come from the Thailand, and then the road is already under construction. The road national number 5, and then when it's already finished, and then it's going to be very easier for them to export the spare parts, to import the spare part to Cambodia through the borders. Okay. That is in Sihanouk View, you need to the price of the land also one of the conditions that we need to look at, and the labor course in the both are also a little bit low. That's why I believe this one should be the most of the important factors that people also believe in. Okay. Okay, that is what I can tell you right now. I think I can move a little bit further to the economy of scale for you. Okay, before this. Okay, so this is the kind of economy of scale that I discussed to you. Okay, here that is the economy of scale. When you increase your output, you're going down here. This is long every total course. And that is constant return to scale, and this one is the economy of scale. See that? So these are this one, economy of scale, but you increase this, and then it's going to be lower the cost, and then it's going to become to constant, and then it's going to come to the long run. Why it's come to this? Because your input already there will be no longer fixed input in the long run. Everything will become the variable input. That's why it is come increasing like this. The last stone is the the transportation costs. Okay, so goods and services are not freely or instantly mobile. Goods and services are not freely. You need to look at the transportation cost too. For example, you need to look at the real. I don't know. Maybe we can transport through the road system water systems, or we can transport to the air systems, but in our context here. Yeah, so we need to look at this center. And then transportation and communication course, something in effort and time, it doesn't free for you. And this course limit the extensions towards advantages of natural endowments or economy of spatial concentration can realize. Even those we realize the importance, the advantage of natural endowments or natural. We also need to look at what happens. We also need to look at to the transportation course also, okay, because this one gonna be causing trouble. So if you do not care about that, it's gonna be give you inefficient point, okay. So let me conclude for you a little bit. This topic 4, the 3 foundation here. The first thing that I discussed to you, you can understand that a regional economy can be framed by the spatial characters of spatial characters, I would say, of an economist. And the spatial characters of an economist, needs to be answered with the one question: what is where and why and so what? And then what we refer to economic activity, every type of economic activities, where we refer to the locations, and why and so what we refer to political implications, okay? And then I introduce you with the 3 foundation stone. One is the imperfect factor mobility, and that imperfect the visibility, and lastly about the imperfect mobilities of water services, okay? So yeah, I think I'm a little bit rushed for today. I come to the end of this slide, of this chapter, or of the topic. Are there any questions you want me to address further, please?
Teacher, I have one question about
Yes.
the transportation cost. For
Yes.
example, the investment or some kind of trade with cross-border trade, then we usually include tax. So does it include in transportation cost or in other cost, teacher?
Times, you mean time, right?
Tax, teacher, tax.
Taxed.
Yes, teacher.
Oh, tax, I don't think, yes, if it is depend. If you look at to the, yeah, I can say this one might be also in the transportation cost, right? Because you need to, how can I say this? This one is not called tax, it's what's called custom, right? Or tariff, right? Yeah, that's a kind of tax, you're right. That's a kind of tax, yes. Yeah, it can be considered as the transportation cost. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Dalia, can I just ask you have a little bit? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello,
Please. Yes. Please try to note down how many sessions that I missed you, okay? And then we can make up for your compensations when
hello,
we
like
have
I
some.
cannot hear you.
Can you just
Hello.
also try to record the session that I miss you? For example, today I miss you one session, so I need to compensate to you this too, okay? Can you just please have me record this too?
What should I record?
Just note it down, okay? No need to record anything. Just let me, just remind me, for example, when it's almost come to the end of the course, I will inform you, and then you just let me know how many sessions that I need to compensate to you, okay?
Oh, okay, like.
Is it understandable?
Yes. I will clarify with my sub monitor more because my internet is really slow right now.
Okay, all right then. It's also, please help me also with the international trade course, okay? I try my best to complete all the 45 hours to you all, okay? Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm sorry for today. I'm a little bit busy. I cannot be with you until 8:30, okay? So Can I just close our discussion right now and then have a nice holidays for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But don't forget, okay, you need to remember about 3 do and 3 don't, okay? Yeah, because not yet go away from us. So be careful with that, okay? Yep.
Yes, lecturer.
Yes,
Yeah, teacher.